our spotlight speaker, Rafranz Davis. Rafranz is the Executive Director of Professional and Digital Learning at Lufkin District in Texas. She has been traveling far and through great weather difficulty to get here. And I am someone who has followed Rafranz on Twitter for a long time, and I know her to be someone who's very passionate about inspiring teachers, inspiring students, and really bringing a sense of empowerment and purposeful engagement to classrooms throughout her district and throughout the world. I'm excited to hear what she's going to share with us today about Minecraft, because if you are looking for a true innovator and someone who is really about bringing students into the center of the learning process and making professional learning more purposeful for teachers, then you've come to the right room. So without further ado, here is Rafranz Davis.
Good morning. Good morning. Y'all had fun in this last 2 days of learning. How many days is that? It's like 4, isn't it? This might be one of the longest conferences that I've been to, other than this team. But it's been pretty, I love this room, it's quite beautiful. I'm really excited to talk about Minecraft as a Minecrafter. I like to call myself. I was not always a Minecrafter. I sucked at it, terrible. I would actually watch my nephew play and literally watch him and be like, oh, that sounds good. And then go on about my business. Because one day he asked me to build with him, and I had so much trouble placing one block down until I didn't even want to do it again. But then he kept insisting that I do it with him more. And the more I played with him, the more creative I became, but not as creative as he is, and that's okay. Because I don't have to be, as long as we're allowing him to do that, but I'm learning in the process. So that's been, I think, kind of like a pretty cool moment or story with me. So this all of these ideas were actually put together between me and my nephew. His name is Braden Art. Actually, that's not his name. His name is Braden, but on Twitter, he is Braden Art. And when we implemented Minecraft in our school district, he was a big part of that. In that, had I not experienced Minecraft with him as an aunt, there's no way I would have come in and known the importance of doing this with our students. So just to kind of give you a heads up for us, so that you know you don't have to wait till you get Minecraft in place, we bought licensing for Minecraft EDU, which was the edition. It was $13, I think, a student, and you had to build a server, and it all has to be on standalone machines. But in the course of that time, because we did not have standalone machines in our district, we have terminal machines. Let that sink in for a moment. We could not load Minecraft EDU on our machines, but we had iPads. And so, at the bargain price of a one-time fee of $6.99 per device, we put Minecraft on our iPads, which was probably the greatest thing that we did while we build our infrastructure for Minecraft education, which is different from EDU, and I will tell you as much as I can tell you about it, because I kind of know a little bit about that too. How many of you use Minecraft in your classrooms? Nobody? How many of you know what Minecraft is? Okay, that is such a plus. You have no idea how many times I ask that question, and it's usually crickets. Like, they're like, I'm here because I don't know what it is. So I have a little video. If you haven't seen it, Minecraft was bought by Microsoft. And when they bought it initially, I was one of those people that was like, no! Because all I could think was blue screen of death. And that's the worst thing that could happen with Minecraft is, y'all know that. Is blue screen of death. They know that. I told them that. This is nothing they haven't heard from me. But I am encouraged by the new Minecraft Education Edition, which will run on our terminals next year and on any device that we bring other than a Chromebook or an iPad, only PCs. That's still a whole other conversation. But I did wanted to share, this was the video that they came up with. And there must be a magic way to make this play. That's not it. I'll just do this.
Minecraft is changing the way people learn already. It's already having major effects. I've described it this weekend as an awakening. I was truly learning with and from my students. These teachers had seen the excitement of the students, the level of engagement, I think it makes them realize this is what I got into teaching for.
If the kids are so incredibly passionate about this game, there's obviously value in it to them.
It's not that it helps kids learn different. They've been learning that way. They've been learning through gaming. It helps us see the way that they learn different. And I think that is the biggest game changer.
Minecraft is the one tool I found where the collaboration is incredible.
There's a lot of potential where we have students and teachers can come into the same space and interact together.
Is this part right here, this part right here?
When we give them the license and just give them a challenge, we want you to do project X, Y, or Z. Teach us what you know about finance. Show us a sustainable build. Show us what you know about volume. They're very comfortable in that environment, and it's really powerful to watch that happen.
I've never seen a more empowering tool for kids to use to create.
The students have a lot of ownership. They have a lot of autonomy, agency in that space.
You talk about the same experiences that computer programming gives, where you're allowed to fail and you're allowed to do things. Minecraft provides that same experience. My favorite one is build a house. And the magic happens when you do that. To walk into the world that a child has created and to see their excitement, to watch their eyes light up, it is something that you honestly have to experience at least once in your life.
They are able to connect what they're doing, their actions, and this seemingly play game environment, but they begin to make connections to their learning. And when they're doing that, and you're only bounded by your imagination, the sky's really the limit.
It's so often, I guess, these times in education when we feel like we can't take a leap and do something that isn't planned, that isn't tested, that isn't something that fits into the confines of a textbook. But when you look at kids loving learning and learning that we didn't define, nothing speaks louder than that.
My feeling is let's tap into the way kids learn. Let's embrace that and let's bring that into the classroom. And when we can do that, we've really, made something happen.
The dynamic of the classroom has really changed.
It's refreshing to see that kids want to be creative. Kids want to have this just clean, open slate to do whatever they can or want, or dream.
That doesn't happen in classrooms normally. But I think more and more Minecraft is going to be able to help people figure out a collaborative digital future that they would have never imagined otherwise.
So I just have to say, the people Microsoft hired to edit that video are pretty amazing with the things that they captured. Because I don't think that would have happened otherwise without them doing it in that way. So that kind of gives you, I guess, a little bit of overview of Minecraft in a classroom setting. So I'll kind of tell you in your ways of getting started. How many of you have ever played Minecraft yourselves? A few of you, yay. And if you haven't, let me just say you don't have to know how to play. You don't have to know a thing about it. And that was kind of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of our teachers. What do you mean I'm supposed to do this in my class and I don't know how to do it? How does that work? So we actually, and I think that it's in the slide and I'll talk about it if it's not, we actually formed a student group. We literally formed because I asked the students, so here's really what happened. In our leadership meeting, I said, can we form a student alliance, a Minecraft student alliance, student leadership, students across the district that play Minecraft that can help lead and teach some of our teachers when they want to, help support classrooms, and be a part of when we have our big Minecraft event at the end of the year, that was their first time hearing about. And so they said, yeah, but there needs to be some guidelines, some parameters. So you work on what that is, and then we'll talk to our principals, and maybe this is something that we can aim for next year. So I said, all right. So I went on the campus like that literally hours later, and to meet with some teachers who happen to have kids. And I turned to their kids and I said, do you play Minecraft? And their eyes lit up. It was like the greatest conversation I've ever had with 4-year-olds in my entire life. And so I said, would you mind coming to a session of work where we're going to teach teachers how to play? Do you want to help teach teachers? And they were like, it was as if I gave them all a golden ticket to Willy Wonka. It was the greatest kind of moment. So it started from there. We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4. We ended up with 6 students ranging in age from 4 to 12, to come work with our teachers in a small group setting on how to play Minecraft. So Minecraft in our district is sort of like this. When you play with Minecraft, of course, you can have PC Mac. Remember, we're having issues with our systems. We only have terminals. So for us, it is literally tablet and phone, which has been a great entry point. And I always tell people, especially when you're starting, play with it on a tablet first. And before you jump into the PC part of it, there are things that are created specifically for education within the PC version that allow you to do things like bring kids in to a certain point in the world where the tablet version doesn't allow. We also had some infrastructure issues, so the kids want to play multiplayer and they couldn't until we fixed whatever was blocking that IP address from connecting. And then the other thing was, especially when you play on iPad and you do it blindly, not knowing, the kids have been playing, so they know things that you don't, like how to seed and certain things into their world. They have like little numerical codes that will automatically build things that you don't even know exist. And also how to play on servers from their iPad. There's one in particular that we play on at home called Hypixel. So when I saw the first grader putting that in, I knew exactly what it was, and it was not. I also know things that kind of can happen on Hypixel because we've experienced that too. Let me just put it this way. Think of it like playing after dark and building after dark. Hypixel, so servers are like you're playing with people all over the world and not just school. So what we did we did not connect them to Wi-Fi, and we just had them build with certain artifacts on the iPad, and they lived with it. They were not that upset that they could not play on their servers, but that was our first graders, and so we kind of we had to put in those controls because I had a kid that memorized at least 5 different IP addresses of servers, a first grader. And he was like, and I know this one, and I know this one, and I know, and he was like writing them all down. And his teacher's sitting there looking at him like, I don't even know what he's talking about. And I'm looking at him, part really, really impressed, and the other part mortified because I'm like, oh, this is going to completely break down any discussion we have with Minecraft in our school. This is not on. But I'm doing teacher voice, I think, pretty decently, in my opinion, which is usually wrong. So I'll start out with some ideas, and you'll see Brady's little bubble down there. So create a mini world that represents the plot or summary of a book. Take your best shot and talk about your build in a blog or video. So what we do with our students is we're doing this like in a classroom now with our 5th graders if they're reading a particular story in class. And so they can build a plot or summary. And I stole this idea from Lego. So we were playing, Lego has Lego Story Creator. Have y'all seen that? It's great, where the kids build with Legos their story, and then they build so much detail, and then they use that to do their writing. So as we kind of talked about this, my dear nephew said, you can do that with Minecraft. And I was like, what? And he says, yeah, you just build whatever you want to build, and then we'll write about it. And you build to whatever extent. So in this case, this was a Star Wars build after seeing the movie. And this is a layer that is going eventually into a Star Wars world. And inside that layer is a field of fire and a gate that you have to put a block in to get through the gate because it's using redstone, which are circuits, in order to make that happen. And it's a really crazy and intense build. But the level of detail the kids can build and then write about it completely will extend the way they do things. I'll share this with y'all so you don't have to write everything down unless you just want to. So that's one idea on the blog or story. And if you really want to know, like, Lego does a lot of awesome things, and we have the Lego things, but Minecraft can be, I don't want to call it a form of Lego. It's sort of like Lego on steroids. That's the wrong way of saying it. On sugar and Mountain Dew. How about that? It's like Lego on sugar and Mountain Dew. That's kid friendly. You can quote me on that. But it's so within Minecraft, and those of you that played know, there's this material called called redstone. And redstone can be used to create circuits, which means you can make things that move. You can make things that blink off and on. You can make things that are automated. You can make a completely sustainable farm where you can feed your zombies all kinds of things through Redstone, which is a lot of what we do. And the kids will do that too without being prompted, and we'll get to some of that as well. The next idea was using Minecraft to model scientific concepts like natural resources, habitats, biomes, and the transfer of energy. Show what you know as a mini game. So for my 40th birthday, I kid you not, I had an entire Minecraft mini game created in my honor. An entire Minecraft world full of mini games created in my honor. Did not know these things existed. So here's kind of how it worked, and I'll explain what this is and what that image is, because I fully understood it after getting the explanation from that. So in my world, they were buildings. It's sort of, think of it like a virtual amusement park, right? But when I walk in, I walk over a particular part, and explosions happen in the world from fireworks, redstone, and I walked on, I think it might have been a pressure plate, that there were, I'm speaking Greek for a second, just hold on. There were explosions, but I walk in and there's one game, and when you play the game, I would have to shoot the pictures with a bow and arrow, and when the item from the pictures dropped, it didn't drop for me to have to walk and get it. It actually automatically landed in a chest right in front of me, so all I had to do was grab it, and that was a mini game. So there's several different mini games that can be built within Minecraft. In this case, this one was one where the explanation was on, ironically, the transfer of energy. And so the idea was, from the kid himself, was that he was explaining how trees and animals and trees needed each other. And without oxygen, that the living creatures would perish. So I'm going to explain how this works, and then you can pat me on the hand at being a really bad aunt at encouraging this behavior. But what he did was he put trapdoors surrounded by glass and bunny rabbits inside. And so then he would burn up a tree. And when the tree burnt up, that meant that the animal wasn't getting any oxygen, so the animal would fall through the trapdoor. It didn't die, it just fell through the trapdoor. But that was his way of explaining the idea that animals needed oxygen. And so he kind of used Minecraft to talk about that. In other words, I would never have assigned that in my life. But in this way, it was a way that he understood it and could relate to it, and so it worked. At the same token, and I explained in another class, and I think I can pull this up and show it in a minute, if it's not in here, of ecosystems that our kids were learning about, and they were able to relate to ecosystems to what they created in Minecraft. That they had to have all the living things in the world, and they could survive within certain areas, and Minecraft helped to do that. And so what we do with our kids is we have them create, and then they snap a picture, and then they put the picture in something like Adobe Voice or a Google presentation so that they can create an entire story. So it's really worked in that favor to do that. The next one, so this is an example of Hypixel, but I'm going to tell you how you can do this in your class. Create your own build battle. So earlier today I told you about Hypixel. So Hypixel is a server that is created by an outside group. And they're probably 16-year-olds that created it, because that literally is honestly what happens. So what Hypixel works is that you are given a random, semi-random topic that you have to build. And then you go around and you vote on how great each person's build is, and then there is a high score at the end of it. Now, it's incredible to watch because it's really competitive, but when you are judging other people's and you see what they've created, then you get, there's an excitement that happens when you see what other people have done. So you give kids a challenge and a time limit. They must create something on that topic in the given time, have them judge each other's work at the end. So in other words, the topic might be a rainy day. And the kids might have 5 minutes to make a build that would represent a rainy day. So it could be that they have rain in a place. It could be an umbrella, a person with an umbrella. You don't know what they're going to create. They're inspired by the idea, and they have to build something in a time frame about it. But once they're finished, so in a classroom, this could be that all of them have their devices open, hands up when time runs out, and then they go to each other's device and maybe judge them with a sticky note. The way it's done on the Hypixel server is they're judged from super poop to, I can't remember the top word. It's not exceptional. It's something crazy like that. So if you don't want to have them judge things based on poop in your class, then you just do 1 to 5 anonymously, sort of like you would do a poster walk. So this would be like a digital poster walk where they would walk around and judge. And then at the end of it, all the points are tabulated, so they get a total of points. It's not an average. Then the person with the highest points wins that round. So it's a really cool way of doing sort of a bill battle in your classroom. Can you imagine doing that? So you would yourself come up with what are the phrases that you're going to use. It could be vocabulary words that you're studying at that time. So their Minecraft build has to be inspired by that vocabulary word, and then they build that. Another thing you're going to encounter is not all kids know how to play Minecraft. So there's also a thing called team build battles, so that they wouldn't just be one person building. You could have them do it as multiple people in one build. Then the kids that maybe don't know how to play can be paired with someone who does, but you also have to explain that both of them have to have a part in it so that the other person is learning. And that way the other person, because it's competitive, will just take over, and you don't want that to happen. And I can actually show you some, we'll go through a build battle before we leave here in my Minecraft game so you can see what it's like. One of y'all might just participate in it. That'll be fun. Next idea was to tell kids to just build a robot and wait and see what they come up with and then share it. This helps you, this was our entry point with our first grade class. You know, the one that memorized all the servers? This is how I knew what kind of class I was dealing with too. I went in and said, your task is to build a robot. And some of the kids said, we do not agree with that task. We want to build something else. Can we build something else? And I said, go for it. And it didn't block them from doing it, but the ones that didn't have an idea where to start, a starter gave them an idea. This particular one, he built, his robot has eyes, and there's actually video of him talking about it. But there's redstone, that red stuff, going from the eyes down to a switch. Keep in mind this is first grade. They haven't learned this yet. And so he says, I have a redstone and a switch because when I turn the switch on, the robot can now see. So he's building circuits, and no one taught him that, but he learned it in Minecraft. So I didn't tell them that it had to have redstone. I didn't give them any stipulations. Those that knew how to use certain materials created things that were a little bit more creative than others, but they also learned from each other as they did it. So I guess this idea would be more like give them a simple task and just let them build. It doesn't have to be a robot. It can literally be build a house. It can be build a tower. It can be whatever it is that you want to say for them to build. This one is one of Braden's ideas that actually did occur in a classroom, to research and build historical landmarks, use science to provide research findings. That's a Texan landmark. Do y'all know what that is? Yay! Gold star for you. If I had a sticker, I'd give you one. But that definitely is the Alamo. And the fact that there can be research about that in that world was also a cannon, which no one asked for battle cannons, but they were there. The flags that are literally on the Alamo. So a great part here was I have a middle school teacher, and I talked about it in my last session, who, and I don't think I put the image in here because I haven't changed it since I was in her class last week, but we took her some Google Cardboard into her dual language class, and the kids had been researching parts of the country that were related to whatever languages that they were studying. And for the first time in Google Cardboard, they got to experience those in, a pretty one-to-one environment virtually. So they got to go to Spain, and to Mexico, and to the Philippines, and to Peru, if I'm saying it correctly. They got to go to those places for the first time, and then their assignment was to create something based on it. And I will go pull that up because it's not in this file, but it literally made me cry when I saw it. When I walked around the room, I saw Minecraft on one of the kids' phones. And I said, you know you have Minecraft on your phone. I bet you can use Minecraft to create whatever build you're going to make based on where you visited. And his teacher overheard, and at that time he's looking at me going, what? I can do that? Like how? I can do that? And so we told him, you can go do the build and then do a screenshot, and he did. and he built a coliseum for one of the, he went to Spain is what he visited, and the coliseum that he built was one that he experienced through Google Cardboard. And it was amazing to see the detail that he was able to put into his Minecraft build because of the experience, the virtual experience from Google Cardboard. And I say that saying that, I was one of those people who, when the cardboard conversation started and people were like, this is going to replace field trips. And I was like, no, we still want field trips. But it never occurred to me about visiting places you could not have a field trip to. Like, you can't go to Spain from your 8th grade classroom in rural East Texas. You can't go to France or whatever else. But now they can, and then we can use Minecraft for them to help kind of process that and then bring in the research. You don't see any of the signs there, but in Minecraft you can create text-based signs. So they can put signs in different parts of the building explaining the research that they had behind the world that they visited. So that's an idea that you can definitely use. And yeah. So, and this builds onto the Google Cardboard. So this is, the next one is the Discover, Research, Build. This was my idea. Discovery, that should say Discover. Historical landmarks and global structures, view from multiple perspectives, recreate Minecraft. Just like I just talked about with Google Cardboard, but if you don't have Google Cardboard, there's Google World Wonders, which is through Google Cultural Institute. Have y'all seen Google Cultural Institute? Okay, I kid you not, your life will change. Search from your device, I don't think it works very well on a phone. Google Cultural Institute. It literally is an online museum of art in all kinds of places, from all kinds of places and in different languages. So I actually use Google Cultural Institute with Google Translator because they're in different languages. So if I wanted to know what the piece was by this Italian artist, written entirely in the description from Italian, I just do translate and it translates it. It's pretty amazing. But a part of Google Cultural Institute is Google World Wonders. It basically is street view at different historical landmarks, or artistic landmarks, I should say, that you can do directly from your PC or Mac or Chromebook. So that is a great place to get inspiration from that you can then translate into Minecraft. And even if you don't have Minecraft, that is a great resource to have in your classroom for history and literature. That was my off-the-topic explanation, but I'm in love with Google Cultural Institute. And if you want to see that more, I will gladly show you in a little bit. Or now. Any questions so far? Burning questions? None? Okay, good. Or not, you have none.
Is this a free website?
Google Cultural Institute?
No.
Minecraft? Minecraft is not free.
Okay, so you have to buy that program. And then,
Yes.
Okay, we have, I know we have Windows 10 on our computers, and my students, they actually play, so I don't know if our district already involved because we have Windows 10, or if it's actually on my, but they actually play, so I don't know if they actually, my district actually bought it when they did Windows 10, because it came with Windows 10, I think.
It did.
So we have Windows 10, then we get it.
What happened was, is when Microsoft came out with Windows 10, they came out with a Windows 10 beta edition that supposedly if you had Minecraft EDU, you could download the beta edition for free. But it looks like that people could play the beta edition anyway.
Right.
Typically now, the way they've unleashed it is if you buy it through Windows 10, it's $10. But if you have EDU, it's free. With that said, if they're playing it, use it.
It's free. It's got to be free, right?
So the deal with, and I don't know if that's true all the time or how it's free on your system, but it's sort of like one of those gifts that keeps on giving and you don't ask why.
Right.
That's one of them. I would just,
My second grade, one of my second grade classes, they played the vocabulary school. We got you. We don't challenge you to Minecraft. I was like, oh, okay, I got you already. They actually been playing.
oh, that's amazing.
Because they were shooting the other day. My friend was like, we wait on you next month. It's on and popping. I was like, oh, okay, really? And these are second graders. So it's on. I get back there ready.
now when they go in there, they can build anything.
Yeah, it's a blank, it basically is, think of it like an empty table, and they can build whatever they want on it.
Because is it Xbox or something?
So they can, yes, so they can play through consoles, Xbox, PS2, 4, those 3, 1, no, maybe not 1, but it's through those consoles, and then PC, and then iPad or Chromebook.
Okay, so if,
Not Chromebook, I lied.
okay, so if you want this as a project, like I was looking at this particular idea, number 5, to implement to the 6th graders, so that looks like something good that they could do the ones before they would be 5th graders.
They would need to have Minecraft in some capacity. So what I would do is what we did. I would ask kids who plays Minecraft at home.
Okay.
And you will find that a large percentage of your kids are already playing on a parent's device.
Okay.
So hold those groups and see how many of them actually have access to it.
Okay.
And then those that don't have access to it, do you have any devices in your school? Ask, can you purchase Minecraft for those devices? And then I'll share this presentation with you, and you can show them what you want to do, and then show them the education.minecraft.net, which I'll go through with you, and you can show them that too. But I will tell you, a large percentage of your kids have access to it either on, what grade do you teach?
Computers.
Oh, you
Yeah,
teach
so
computers.
they get it on their tablets, on their, but they
Yeah.
play it
A
out.
lot of them have it, or they have it on their parents' device.
So when you put it on the tablet, you go through Minecraft.net.
No, we go through the app,
Oh, so download the app Minecraft.
and then they play it on the tablet. We bought it for our tablets, but a lot of, like, our kids, I was in robotics. This was before Minecraft started. One of the freshman coders, and they were learning C++ in between classes. He would pull up Minecraft on his little tiny Android phone. And that was kind of my, oh, wow, you're in high school and doing this. So I started to see pods of more of that around our campus of kids who just had it, and they use it to play.
So when you download the app, is that a free app?
It is not.
Okay.
They used to have a free edition on iPhone and iPad, and then all of a sudden the free edition disappeared. The free edition was very limited, but it's not there anymore. So the only edition there is the $6.99. And I'm telling people, because I'll tell you about the Minecraft new edition and the cost that it will be yearly. I've told people to try it out in this way. This is not a yearly cost. You literally buy it for this device one time. And if you want to implement the yearly cost one, which we're going to, and I'll explain why, then have at it. But for now, this one works. With that said, if you buy Minecraft EDU for the PC, when Minecraft releases Education Edition, you get the first year of that free for as many licenses that you have with EDU.
Okay, so if you have it on Windows 10, then I have it on Windows 10. I just got it. So you said you would share that to that. You would email that to us?
If you want me to email it to you, I will. Again, and I'm going to tweet it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not on it,
Not on the Twitters? It's okay. All right, so here's idea number 7, and we're almost done. I don't even know what time it is right now. 10 what time?
34.
Oh, this class ends at like 10:45, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so this is idea number 7.
I'm sorry, 11:34, I'm sorry.
11:34, thank you. To make math tools to learn concepts, kids can take on their own by making their own structures to explore. And that's probably one of the easiest entries in a math class is giving kids my favorite thing is to give them a certain number, like build a structure with a volume of blank. Build a structure with a surface area of blank. But other teachers have done this. They have had the kids go into their world and build whatever their structure was, and then they go find the measurements of each other's worlds after they have done that. So you have that kind of base level, go build and then calculate these measurements, or you can give them the measurement and then have them build something with that particular given measurement, and then be able to explain it. In this case, this happened when Brayden was really young. He was struggling with multiplication and like really bad. The memorization of math facts is their idea was to just have them write the math facts 3 or 4 or 5 times each. And as a math teacher, that annoyed fire out of me. So we instead went into Minecraft and built multiplication models to start. We did 100 charts, and we used bind to cover and show certain parts of that when we were doing fractions. And then eventually, as he built, I started to notice that he was doing things like patterning, algebraic growth patterns that he didn't realize were part of the things that he was struggling with in class. Or when he would build certain buildings, we would throw in the multiplication ideas into that so he could build conceptual understanding while he did it. So a part of this is, especially when building with teachers, is I tell them, don't go in at your first time micro-assigning the lesson. Give them a simple task like building a house, and then literally just build a structure. And then after they have built and they've had to mine for the parts to do that, then you come back and talk about the proportional change you had to do to get wooden slabs from a tree. The proportional change you had to do to get carpet from lamb wool and dye. Like, it's different pieces that they learn while doing it that translate into what you teach. And then we talk about the standards from that. Yes?
For the activities where you said they go around and they look at each other's structures, is there a way to do that in Minecraft, or do
Yes.
they physically walk around?
Yes. Now, we did it this way, walk around, because we were using the iPads that weren't on Wi-Fi, so we couldn't do multiplayer. But yes, so if you're on an iPad, that's multiplayer. And as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi, then you can join anyone's multiplayer world. So you can do that. And then if you're on the PC version of Minecraft EDU, or even Education Edition, all your students are in the same world together. So you can see, and they can see a map where each person is, and then they can just quickly go to that place on the map to visit each person's world. That is much more efficient than, of course, the workaround of the iPad with no Wi-Fi version. But that's what we had to do to get started. So by all means, I completely advocate for multiplayer and everybody being in the same place. Because managing everyone's on their own world is not the easiest task, but at the same time, we could not do it while we waited on the infrastructure to fix itself. Does that make sense? Okay. The next idea, and I liked this one a lot, was a math photo a day challenge. So through Instagram, we've been doing the math photo a day. So you go around the world and you take pictures related to a certain math model. This was a particular one. The polygon would describe circle, fraction, algebraic patterns. The structure with a volume of 72 meters cubed. That one was thrown together for Minecraft, but using something like Seesaw. Do y'all know what Seesaw is? Yes, okay, so Seesaw is an app that I used to hate that allows you to build, think of it like Class Dojo, which I hate more, but instead of communicating behavior things, you're actually communicating the work from the students directly to parents. So you create the class, the parents can sign up to their student in your class, and when something is posted, the parent gets a text right then of the thing that the kid has created. So they can send a picture, they can send a video, they can send a writing little piece, and it sort of forms like a private personal channel for the parent. But I will tell you the part that I hated and the workaround. The hated part was it's completely free for you to use unless the parents want to export the student's entire portfolio, and that was a $10 cost to the parents. So the workaround is they download it as they go, there's no cost. Or the kid saves it and uploads it to like their shared drive, there's no cost to the parent. And now I'm okay with using Seesaw. But Seesaw also has a classroom blog option. So as the students find things or they share things, you can immediately share it to a classroom blog, and it's done like literally right there from any device, any app, whatever the case may be. But for Minecraft, maybe they would have a build a day to do, or a challenge throughout the day that they didn't have to do at school. They can do it at home. They just had to share it through Seesaw in order to do that. And then they can build it, take a snapshot, and then share it through Instagram on your class account or Seesaw. So that's one idea, to do the math photo a day. That doesn't have to be math photo a day. It can be character photo a day. It can be science photo a day. It can be anything, but they're building it in Minecraft and explaining it and sharing it in some way. Number 9, create your own kingdom and government with your own constitution. It's your world, and you get to make the rules. What kind of leader will you be? So they basically designed their entire world, if they were king or queen, of whatever their world or government is. Great idea for a history, social studies, or government lesson. Economics, we've had kids build entire working communities with gas stations and fast food places and hospitals and police stations. but then to be able to articulate why all those pieces are important, what they mean, and how they sustain it, they can build that within Minecraft to do it. Create cool stuff from mining raw materials. We actually had the kids starting in creative mode. Creative mode means that they get all of their supplies at once, but survival mode means that not only can they die and be killed by zombies and spiders, but they have to mine for, in Minecraft, on the ground, all of their materials, and then use a crafting box in order to make new materials from what they've mined. So our first graders, I told them to start out on sort of creative mode, and the girls were the ones that said, we want to do survival, we don't want to do creative. So I said, go right ahead, build from creative. So she had diamonds, and she has glass, and she has all kinds of things in her world there. But the cool part, of course, was hearing the discussion about how they got those materials, and the kids asking and then really explaining it to each other. And some of our teachers even noticed the correlation between the materials as they studied them in class and as they appeared in Minecraft, or some correlation between what they study in class and how they do it in Minecraft. So the big piece there is when you listen to your students kind of explain how they did things and how they built things and how they got things, it turns on a light bulb for you, the teacher, in terms of what they process and how they create. I linked here the crafting guide so you can see that. But again, that would be a resource and not to be micro-assigned unless your kids have never played and you want to give them some quick crafting cards to show them some things that they can make. But the rest, of course, they will figure out. Idea 11, turn building in Minecraft into a business. This creates a dollar value on blocks, challenge builders to design a build based on a set value or calculate the value of their build based on cost. And then the bonus, creating the floor plans of what they built with measurements. This one is actually still a work in progress of a teacher that used to do, they did the city builds with the materials in class. Some of the kids chose to still do those. But some kids had a choice. They could do it in Minecraft. Their parents loved that because they didn't have to spend money on materials, or the school didn't have to provide such materials. But so each block would have a certain particular dollar value, and then the kids would build based on that, their entire little city. And that's built on an iPad. And I think that one is a week, no, that's maybe 3 days in is where that particular one is so far. Screencasting tools or Google Hangouts to make the world your stage, create a storyline, tell it with video. In this case, we used TechSmith Camtasia to plug in the device and record. But TechSmith has another product. It's not Camtasia. I can tell you what the name of it is, but it's free. I will think of it and tell you what the name of it is. I thought I had it on there, but I didn't. There's another tool that's online called Screencast-O-Matic. You don't have to download anything. You just sign up, and it lets you record your screen, and you can record in Minecraft. Another idea is we do this at home all the time. We do a Google Hangout and share the Minecraft screen and hang out live and record it, and then you have a screen recording of your Minecraft world with the kids talking about it. So that's one, too. And I know we don't have time to play the video, but it's there, and so you can play it when I share it, and you can see it. But this one, I was getting ready to visit Google for Google Teacher Academy at the time, and my nephew was like, I wonder what the Google building looks like. I said, well, you should create what you think it looks like. So he did, and so we have a video of that, which you can easily do in your classroom. And we're doing that now with Screencast-O-Matic on my one Mac. Until we get our PCs together for them to do it on PC. And this is just from some of the builds from our class. The challenge that our students are doing now in our second grade class is they're using Minecraft to build their ideal classroom and what they think their classroom should be. And a lot of them went without desks or went with comfy chairs instead of what they have in class. And they gave their teachers thrones, and some of them didn't give their teacher a desk at all. But the cool part is the discussion and conversation from them when they built. And I actually had video of this, and then for some reason it did not save on my phone, so I did not get to transfer it over, but I'll put it in, and so when I share it, it'll have the video there too, so you can see it. I'm going to tweet it at Rafranz Davis. So if you go to, so it's R-A-F-R-A-N-Z Davis. So twitter.com. So twitter.com. Oh, Rafranz Davis. R-A-F like Frank. R-A-N-Z Davis, D-A-V-I-S. R-A-F-R-A-N-Z Davis, D-A-V-I-S. I'm so sorry, my mama did that to me. Yes. Yeah. So it's at Rafranz Davis is my Twitter name. But I will, if you give me your email address, I will email it to you. And then help you get on Twitter. So anyway, I know we don't have time for this, but I do encourage you to visit education.minecraft.net so you can see kind of where Microsoft is going with this. I've also included a list of resources, including some blogs of people who are writing about Minecraft and how they're using it in the classroom. The education.minecraft.net has examples. They even have some builds you can start with in your class. What they don't do very well, and I've told them that, is that they don't do very well with creating materials for this just starting out teacher. There are things that are there that if you're just starting Minecraft will be completely overwhelming. So, but I'm telling you that ahead of time. But there are some other blogs there, and then at the bottom is a Google group of Minecraft teachers from all over the globe that are sharing their ideas on how they're using Minecraft. So definitely join that Google group because you're going to learn a lot more from them than you could have in a 50-minute session. So with that said, I think that is all the time we have.